Develop the passion for learning. Be a lifelong learner.
But at the end of the day, it's how do you use those tools to such a granularity that can be truly differentiated. And that's where it's going. So, with that said, it's my turn. I'm going to start with a little video. I love that video because I've seen it in the Fortune 500 companies, I've seen it in the Fortune 1000 companies, and the possibility exists for the small companies to do the same. The technology exists. But what I want to talk about today is to change the narrative a little bit. If we look at ourselves where we are today, because we're looking to either, and I sort of raise of hands, get a new job, right? So I think, I don't need to repeat that technology is part of the economy and all those other things. I want to talk about performance, and I want to talk about potential of each and every one of you in this room. Wherever you are in the stage of your career, whether it's you're in college and you're looking to get your first entry-level job, or whether you're in mid-management now and you're looking to get to the C-suite, it's all about performance. Russell talked about it in terms of those 7 elements. It's about how do you take performance and how do you show potential and tap into that potential. Lifelong learning is one of those ways to do it. So the starting point, pretty basic assumption. Technical skills are a requirement to performance in the 21st century. 1982, technology skills weren't a requirement. 1992, not really so. If you want to be in the IT business, a requirement. In 2012, it's a requirement. I don't need to say it anymore because we've all seen it. But what else is an employer looking for? As a talent management strategist, I'm working with Fortune 500 companies in terms of how does one hire the right talent? How does one promote the right talent? What are those things that those companies are looking for so that they have the competitive advantage in the marketplace. Each of you have to be able to share your performance, but more importantly, what your potential is. Bottom line is there's two paths, and they're starting to meld and they're starting to converge. The two paths are information technology, and yet there's also, from a technology perspective, business management. Whether you're marketing, whether you're sales, whether you're accounting, the technology is a requirement. At the same time, from a person-to-person perspective, you have to demonstrate performance, you have to demonstrate your potential. You have to grow. You have to grow from a learning perspective, and it's classroom, it's online, it's what you read, but it's also your life experiences. So, let's talk about everyone who's looking to get that new job. You're all performers here. You go to Hofstra, you go to NYU, you go to Baruch, see people from Columbia. You all have a story to tell. Be able to articulate that story, but how you perform. And it's not about 3.4, 3.8, or 4.0, or in my case, 2.2. It's about what is your life story? You know, what do you bring to the table? What is that company looking to hire you for? It's not about they'll train you on a lot of stuff. They'll train you on product, what they do, and how they do it, and the policies and procedures. They're hiring you for something else. They're hiring you for a competence. And that competency is, when you're in that interview process, how are you going to demonstrate? So when you start off, it's hard work. Russell has 7, I have 5. You know, work ethic. You're coming in, you're coming to work, you're not coming to social. You have to demonstrate in your conversations how you went to school, how you worked, how you communicated to your fellow students, how you communicated to your administration, how you communicated to your professors. That's the story, that's the tapestry you want to weave to those individuals. You want to show that there's some sound judgment. You know what I mean? When you're coming out of college, you probably want to clean up your Facebook pictures. At least that's what I tell my children. Use some judgment. Show how your judgment has enabled you to be successful. Differentiated yourself from other people. Execution. Tell them about those projects that you did in college. Tell them about those things that you were successful in. Tell them how you work. But also demonstrate a capacity to learn. No one wants to hire a person who's going to be that low entry-level person for the rest of their life. They're looking for the one that can grow, that can be groomed, and that can be talented. So that's the hiring process. I show that video, though, because I think it's a great video in terms of showing the trajectory that a career can take. And so when you come out of college and when you're going into the workforce, you're typically an individual contributor. You don't have management responsibility, you're not supervising, you're not managing people. You're being hired for a specific role. But I wanted to bring this to your attention in that person was demonstrated in that video. Her learning path as an account executive or account manager is a little bit different, but she still needs some technology skills to be successful. She needs to know MS Office, she needs to know Word, she needs to know Excel, she needs to know PowerPoint. She also needs to know SharePoint, because in that role, as you can see, she's going to have to start collaborating with people. Because there's no individual who's just doing that one job. You work in teams. CRM, Microsoft CRM, there's a bunch of CRMs, a client relationship management software package. You have to be able to use these type of tools to be effective. That's the technical skills. Anyone can do that. The business skills become the differentiator from your perspective, though. How do you effectively communicate? How do you effectively sell? These are the things that you're going to have to start demonstrating while you're working for that company. This is the type of training, the self-learning that you have to go through so that you can prove your performance. You can be considered a performer, that you can start being shown as a person who has potential for that organization. If you go to the individual from a IT perspective, Andrew, there's some real tactical things that you can do from a technical perspective. You're going to want to get A+ or Net Plus certification so that you can understand the underpinnings of the technology that you'll be working. You want to start improving your technical skills from the standpoint of understanding those systems of Windows 2008, what those operating systems are, how to manage those systems. You want to start getting certification because it proves that you have that knowledge. But once again, you need the business skills because you don't want to be Andrew for the rest of your life. You want to get and grow and show that potential. So you want to start developing some other things in terms of development if you're on the application and programming side. You know, web applications, window applications, develop those. The business skills, one of the things that I've seen in my experience in IT professionals do not know how to write. It's sad. I've also seen an alarming trend that people who are coming out of college don't know how to write. Learn how to write. Learn how to communicate effectively. Use presentation skills. Get up. If you go to church, say a sermon. Do a reading. Get up in front of people. Go to Toastmasters. Get up in front of the groups. ABA, as a social networking. Practice your public speaking skills. It's not just about how to use PowerPoint. It's about how to get a degree of comfort. That's your potential at the entry level. But potential, what you want to do is you want to demonstrate that you can learn those new skills from a technical perspective. Am I good? From a technical perspective, from a business perspective, and from a professional perspective. These new competencies that you look to advance from that first hire to your second promotion is you want to start demonstrating your ability to work as a team. You do it in college now when you have those group reports, but you want to, in a corporate environment, show that your teamwork, your approach to teamwork, will enable you to move forward to the next level. And that is also developing business acumen. Russell and I talk about this all the time. I like to read the New York Times. Russell believes that you should read the Wall Street Journal every day. Read, read, read. When you're commuting, read the New York Times, read the Wall Street Journal. That is where you're going to start understanding the language and the trends and the issues that impact business. Whether you're an entrepreneur, you're working for a Wall Street firm, or you're working for a data analyst firm, you need to understand and develop that business acumen. Self-management. Do you come to work on time? Do you know how to manage your workflow? Do you execute and create projects and finish projects on time? These are all the things you need to start developing from a competency perspective so that you're promotable within an organization. Guys who got promoted, Mike Tiana, shipping supervisor. He has a learning path, and his learning path is to still, once again, understand what the technology is. He has to become more effective from a SharePoint perspective, how to use that, how to design it, how to make the global logistical charts that he has to do so they can demonstrate to upper management that he's spending their money correctly. He has to be able to use the data that's out there in terms of how to build that process, those reports and so forth. So he still has those technology requirements, but his business skills requirements also become really important now. How does one develop that frontline leadership as a supervisor? You're now managing people. How do you start managing conflict? You know, as I look out and, there's a couple of people that I report, conflict is a natural part of the work environment. As a manager, it's your responsibility to make sure that those conflicts are resolved appropriately. These are new competencies, new skills that you have to develop. Professional. One of the things that we do at NICOM Learning on a regular basis is as you get into management, you start working on projects and initiatives. Mission critical, starting to end date, has a budget associated with it, has a requisite amount of quality. How do you manage those projects become critical to an organization? There's a whole formula, there's a whole framework, there's a whole certification associated with that. I don't know how many people we've trained from a PMP perspective over the years, but it's in the thousands. It is an invaluable certification for someone to attain. It gives the stamp that's similar to someone in an accounting process of the CPA. that you could manage $1 million projects. Once again, lifelong learning. Sanjay, another manager on the business side of it, still needs the knowledge from an enterprise perspective in terms of the technical skills. Technical skills and business intelligence tools, collaboration tools. How does he bring various people within his operation and understand the right information, the right data? He also has to develop some additional business skills. Financial management. You might be a finance major. 3 to 5 years down the road, it's going to be a little bit different. You'll understand the formulas, but how that financial data is reported to you is going to be unique to that organization. How you manage those finances are going to be the lifeblood of the organization. I never knew about cash flow until I ran my own business. Cash flow is blood, so it's the lifeblood of any organization. Would you agree? One of the things, though, also from a professional perspective is IDLE. It's another training certification for IT organization in terms of how does one provide customer service to their business community. It's a framework once again. But once again, it's a certification that builds your competencies, your capabilities, and enables you to be promoted. And then aspire to new heights. And the new heights are being Jeff Hay, being the senior guy, the senior executive. He's always smiling. You notice that? The reason why he's always smiling is, A, he's making some really good coin. He's living on the waterfront. But he has impacted every single person's life. He's set the strategy. He had to learn new skills. He had to learn technical skills. He had to learn business skills. He had to learn professional skills. But his life experiences, his cognitive skills, enabled him to get to that level. And some of those competencies that he really had to demonstrate to get to that level was critical thinking skills. How does one analyze a situation with limited data in context of a global environment and make those long-range, visionary type of decisions that sometimes the company's betting their livelihood? He also had to create some strategic management concepts and abilities. How does one manage across an enterprise? Marketing, distribution, manufacturing. He has the big picture. He's the big picture thing. And leadership. Is he a principal leader? Is he an ethical leader? Is he one that people will agree and follow? Now, as you're coming out of college, that's where we aspire to. But one thing I want you to start thinking about is lifelong learning enables you to create those competencies and those changes and those abilities to be A, hired, B, promoted, and C, to be the top of the house. Now, there might be some people who are going to be entrepreneurs in this room. You still have to learn. You have to develop. You have to identify those strengths and weaknesses. You have to hire the people around you that express those capabilities, those competencies. Jeff Hay, he's the man. Learning path. It's one of the things that, in this level, Jeff Hay has to understand is about thought leadership. How does he develop that IT strategy from a thought leadership perspective and be able to communicate it to his organization? One of the things a guy like Jeff Hay might do, if you have an MBA, is go back to school, get that executive MBA. Be relevant. From a professional perspective, Six Sigma, black belt. One of the things you want to do there is be able to ensure that the quality that he's delivering on, the analysis that he's delivering on, is going to conform to the business requirements set forth by the organization. And that's it.